The political season is gaining momentum as presidential campaigns officially kicked off this week following nominations held last week. While some political parties, their flag bearers were nominated, others failed to meet the requirements, and for PFF, they decided not to front a candidate. The decision came after Dr. Kizza Besigye, a potential presidential contender, has spent 8 months in detention. Although the party has expressed its commitment to backing a united opposition candidate to challenge President Museveni, it has not yet agreed on which of the opposition candidates, either from National Unity Platform or Alliance for National Transformation, and to support.
And we have had several meetings with at least 2 of them, Noop and Ant. And now we have said, since you've been nominated, between you two, decide who should come forward.
The party leaders say they had hoped to have a single candidate by now, but there are still issues that need to be resolved. There are several imperatives that they must consider before arriving at a final decision.
Say, for example, even if we are to pronounce ourselves on a joint candidate we are supporting, how about the rest of the candidates across the board? How about a joint platform or campaign platform? Which message are we going to put across if you want a platform? And for us, our symbol is a phone. And you have another candidate who has a different symbol. And each different entities are vouching for their candidates. So how are we going to harmonize that kind of message? These are some of the imperatives we are trying to address.
However, some PFF leaders say their supporters are demanding clear guidance on which presidential candidates to back.
We still wait for guidance on who to support for presidency. That is still hanging. So the earlier, the better, because people ask us and we have no answers.
Me personally, as a candidate, I've also been demanding to know who is that presidential candidate that I'm going to support. And unfortunately, we have delayed the process, and I'm so confident that that candidate who is going to be availed to us is going to be that candidate who stands for freedom, who will stand to speak loud of the tortures, the injustices taking place in this country, the continued brutality and arrests and kidnaps in this country.
If people must choose between Museveni and other parties, they should either vote NUP or NT. There, they would have voted what Museveni calls the poisonous opposition, but which is the real opposition of Uganda as we talk today.
The uncertainty comes shortly after the PFF entered a cooperation agreement with ANT, a move both parties described as a significant step towards building a united front ahead of the 2026 general elections. Leaders from both sides emphasize that opposition unity remains critical if they are to mount an effective challenge to President Museveni's decades-long rule. Meanwhile, today, during a meeting with party members and aspiring candidates from across the country, PFF leaders renewed calls for freedom and justice, demanding the release of all political detainees, including Dr. Besigye.
This election is a battle between the oppressors and the oppressed. That must come out very well. It's between the persecutors and the victims of persecution, between the oppressors and the oppressed, between the looters and the deprived.
They also called for regional equity and that every part of the country should benefit from its natural resources.
The people of Karamoja have been cheated, made paupers, defined only by cattle rustling. We want to give them back their dignity, to own their resources and use those resources to turn around their region.
Norbert Atkunda, NTV News.